celebrating women's history, offering friendship, giving support. The WRAC is the successor to the Auxiliary Territorial Service, the ATS, formed so that women such as Nancy Tipton could serve in the Second World War.
We are so fortunate today to have with us during this ceremony. We have 14 ladies who served in the Auxiliary Territorial Service. You answered your country's call, you broke the doors down, and we were able to follow you into the British Army. Today we remember everything that the Auxiliary Territorial Service stood for: their courage, their loyalty, and their comradeship. We within the WRAC Association will always remember your service and your achievements.
I think it's only when you hear the history of it that you realise how instrumental women were to the success behind the guys. And I think the history has to come out more and more now to save that from being lost.
If you're over 17 and a half and under 19, you can volunteer for the ATS. We want more girls to drive cars and ambulances, to convoy lorries to the ports. We need more girls to be cooks and clerks, to run the stores and army post offices. More girls to train as signallers and as dispatch riders.
In both World Wars, women soldiers were exposed to real danger and many were killed. Their roles were quite limited, but they pushed the boundaries for later generations.
When I was 14, we had the careers officers come round to our school, the Army, Air Force and Navy. I couldn't swim when I was 14, so the Navy went out the window, didn't like the ships at sea. I wasn't academic at school whatsoever. And then I saw the Army soldiers screaming and shouting at all the others going underneath the scramble net over the 12-foot wall, you know, swinging off the ropes. I was like, yes, that's what I want to be, physical training instructor. I wanted to be the one screaming and shouting and the one getting down dirty.
It's taken a long time to achieve this, but today young women fight and work in the army in exactly the same way as the men do.
All the stuff that women have gone through in the army over the last 100 years, we're at a point where young women are actually really positive and keen to serve in the British Army.
For me, it was something that I've been interested in ever since I was really young. I actually was brought up just outside Harrogate and I used to see all the young junior soldiers tamming through the village, and maybe a little bit mad, but I thought that looks like fun, looks like a challenge. And then went on a battlefield tour of the Somme when I was about 15 with school, and the incredible respect and pride that I felt on that sort of visit and learning about the history of it all, I thought that's something absolutely incredible to do as a career.
In 1949 it was decided to disband the Auxiliary Territorial Service and form the Women's Royal Army Corps, which effectively was an opportunity for more women to serve on a career basis. This is the difference. It wasn't seen as women just joining for a couple of years in response to their country's call. It was a career, and it was suddenly a career path for women to join. And in 1949, a lot of women joined, and the Women's Royal Army Corps existed until 1992.
Standard bearers, on the left, quick, march.
I think the Women's Royal Army Corps Association is absolutely crucial if the role of women and their journey within the British Army is to be told. Because we're the only charity, the only organisation that wants to do it. We are firmly focused on telling that story and also supporting women who've served. You know, we distribute benevolence grants to people who are finding life financially hard. We support the ladies who served in the ATS, some of whom are just living on their old age pension. So there's a real need for us to support them. I hope that we can make changes in our membership, grow our membership, but also make our membership more diverse.
When you walk into a room and you don't know anybody, at any normal event you're walking into that room alone, you go to an association event and you've suddenly got 200 friends. And it's coming home, I think.
It's like a family, and this is even when you leave it, it doesn't leave you, it's still there with you as well. And this is a good reason for having the Women's Royal Army Corps Association. It's like coming home again, don't you agree, Bimbo?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
We're a big family.
It's just one family, it doesn't matter where you live, you're just part of a big family.
I was commanding a tank, and you know, that's not what's normal to most people's lives, but I do think it's important that people can see the history and actually what's happening in real life now. You know, women are capable of doing whatever they want to do, and I think being given the opportunities and the doors open to them, I think that's been very special. So I definitely urge people to go on the WRAC website or the Facebook group to find out what is accessible to them. It's also a great community. You know, I've come here today meeting so many women, and I brought a friend along with me who's never served, and I did say to her, it's a completely different language when you get back to the military. I've met people here that I served with, people here that were my bosses, but we're all equal because we know what it was like to be part of something very special. So I would definitely urge those that are either serving or have served to get back in touch with the Women's Royal Army Corps Association, and you never know where you might end up.
Celebrating women's history, offering friendship, giving support.